Hey, what's up guys? Victor Suarez here with Electrical Assistance, the electrical contractor definitely one of your project. Today we're going to be showing you how to install an outlet, okay, and simple things to do so that you avoid problems. One of them is, for you guys homeowners out there, make sure you buy one of these. I'm going to be doing a video about this thing pretty soon. It could definitely save you a zap, okay? So in other words, you're not gonna get zapped if you have one of these because of what I'm gonna show you. So over here, we have our wires, right? And I'm gonna tell you what to do in a little bit in order to connect with a plug. So over here, one of our guys left a considerable amount of wire. So we can definitely go ahead and cut that excess. I usually like to measure like this. That's pretty much all you need. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. How many of you electricians out there have to do with stuff like this? When you have your wires and, sheetrock guys, just go ahead and nick them all. Put in your comments, all right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna address this over here. Okay. Definitely gonna cut that off. Have a new connection. So now it's not nicked nowhere. Okay. So what we do is we grab a plug, right? Decora style Leviton plug. What I like to do is, it always comes with the 2 screws showing. I personally like to. The ones I'm not going to use, I just go ahead and screw them in. And to make sure, they're in, you just do a little twist. That's what I like to do. I personally don't like to have the wires on the back, stabbed on the back, because if the plug fails, then the connection downstream is going to fail too. Most of you know that. So I like to splice my wires. So all the connections are done before, okay? All the connections are done before, and therefore, if the plug fails, we don't have to worry about downstream. So what I usually do is, I just twist the end of the wire. As you can see, I do a little hook. So ground always goes on the green wire. All right. Press them tight a little bit and screw it in. You can see that once I screwed in, it actually closed the hook, so a good connection. Another hook with the neutral wire. And we do the same process. Put it in one screw. Tighten it a little bit, screw it in. Okay, so it's a good connection there, it's closed, it's not going to go anywhere. Now, we can go to our hot wire. The circuit should be off, it is, okay? I'm going to turn it on so that you guys can see what it means, what that little pin does. So, when I said that this could save you a zap, meaning you're not gonna get zapped, and part of my sweating is going on right now. It's pretty hot out here, and we're doing things as we go. So, for you guys that don't know, homeowners, people that are getting into electrical right now, a good way to see which is the hot wire is just to have a voltage detector. This is just based on contact. Look, it's gonna beep, it's gonna be red. So you know that that is the hot wire, and if you hold that, bare, if you're on the point of contact, right? If I was holding it here, on the tip of it, and I touch the plug now, because the plug now is grounded, right? So if I touch right now, I'm gonna get zapped. I'm gonna get, I'm gonna get zapped, and it's gonna go through me. The current's gonna go through me. That's why you get the shock, right? Electrocuted, or however you want to get it. So for you guys getting into it right now, really recommend having one of those so you know which wires not to touch or how to carefully touch them and not get electrocuted, okay? So here it is, it's beeping, it's red, so I know that this is the hot wire. I mean, it's the black wire, it should be hot, so especially on the plugs. So it's beeping, it's here. So for you folks out there that don't know much about electrical, really recommend getting one of these. You can get one of these, from all sorts of brands. Home Depot sells it, electrical store sells it. So feel free to get one of those. I'll be doing a video about this later on. So we know this is the hot wire, so you gotta be really careful. Really recommend that one of the things you should do is you can leave it there beeping. If your panel, I'm just gonna take that out so you guys can hear me better. So if your panel is not labeled, right, and you don't know which circuit it is, over here we did the whole house, so we have our labels, we know everything. Is to leave this on the wire, beeping. You can just leave it on the wire while you go to your panel and turn off the breaker. Breaker's off. So always, you guys out there, always work with the line turned off, right? With the circuit off. That way you avoid getting electrocuted. The main reason to have this thing is just so you know that it's hot and you should be careful with it. Do not ever work with the line or with the circuit on. All right, let's try to avoid any sorts of dangerous situations out there, okay? So now that that's off, I know that I can just touch this over here and touch that and I'm not getting electrocuted, I'm not getting zapped, right? So again, always work with the circuit off. Okay, I just do my little hook, put it on the screw. Always on the hot side is always going to be on the gold side, right? On the golden screw, however you want to call it. We screw it in. So hot wire always goes on the golden screw. Neutral, white wire always goes on the silver screw, however you want to call it. And ground, which is depending on where you are in the country or whatever, or if it's a commercial or a single family house, however it is, it's either going to be bare or it's going to be insulated with a green insulation. Like this one is white, so it's always neutral. This one is black, so it's always hot. This one is bare, so it's always the ground. Okay. Could be that sometimes, depending on where you are, you're going to have a green insulation on this wire. But green always means hot. Silver usually, especially on plugs, it's always a neutral. And the golden screw always is the hot one. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead, and one last touch that I like to do is to put tape around the plug. And what that does is, once you push the wires, depending on who did the electrical, if the box is too full or whatever, once you push it in, it avoids like the bare copper to come forward and touch, the golden screw, and therefore you could get a short. Or if you have nowadays we're required to use arc fault breakers for plugs, right, as a means of protection. If the ground wire touched the white screw or the silver screw, it's going to trip the breaker. It's not going to work. So one way to avoid that is to put the tape around the plug, and that way if the wire comes forward and touches it, it's not going to trip the breaker. So we're going to do the same process here. Screw it in. Screw it in. Now we're going to install the same overclock that we did for dimmer on the other video. Okay. Now, let's see if it's leveled. It is. I'll just push it back. Here it is. Go ahead and screw that in. And just put the top piece on now. And there you have it. Here's your plug installed with your screwless plate. Again, the only reason why I'm screwing the first piece of this plate is because it's a screwless, right? You don't see the screws. And to me, the best way to make it flush and nice with the plate is if we do it that way. If this was one of those screw regular plates that we have everywhere, you can pretty much set the plug, put it in level, put the plate on top, and you should be good to go. I'll put a video of those pretty soon too. And I hope you guys have liked this, right? And stay tuned for more. Take care.